Hey, Alicia.
Hey, Jared. Ready to jump into another deep dive here on vibrations and manifestations.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And today we're plunging into something pretty fascinating. How our minds can, well, shape our future.
Yeah, we've been digging into talks by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Really interesting ideas.
Right. So the plan is to pull out the main takeaways, the actionable bits, stuff you listening can actually use to maybe change things up in your own life.
And it's not just like philosophical fluff. Dispenza backs it up with research. He's basically saying we've got way more control than we think.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Hmm.
So where do we start? What's the first big concept?
Well, a huge piece is the link between emotion and belief, like how we feel and what we believe are possible.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about this idea of feeling the emotion of a future you want, but feeling it now, before it's actually happened.
Feeling it before. How does that work? Isn't that just pretending?
Well, that's the interesting part. He argues it's not pretending, it's actually building belief. You don't just decide to believe something new, you kind of earn it by feeling it now.
Earn it how?
Think about your body. Dispenza often calls it the unconscious mind. It's very literal. It doesn't really distinguish if an emotion comes from something happening outside
Uh-huh.
or something you're just generating inside with your thoughts.
Okay, so I can think about, say, feeling really abundant, and my body reacts.
Exactly. You give your body an emotional taste, a sample of that future abundance. You feel it now.
And if I feel it stronger, does that make a bigger difference?
Oh, absolutely. The intensity is key. The more powerful that future emotion feels now, the more your brain kind of sits up and takes notice. It's like you're embossing the neural pathways, stamping in that belief.
Right. Like how you remember really emotional events from the past so clearly. The feeling locks it in.
Precisely. You're using that same biological mechanism, but you're aiming it forward towards the future you want to create.
That makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
But what about the flip side? Getting stuck in, the bad stuff. Anger, fear.
Yeah, he contrasts it directly. Those negative emotions, frustration, guilt, anxiety, they're tied to the past, aren't they? To memories.
Totally.
So when we live in those emotions, we're basically reinforcing the past. We behave like the past is still happening, and we believe based on that past.
And gosh, it's easy to get stuck there. Replaying arguments or worries.
So easy. And he even says we can get, like, addicted to those familiar feelings, even the bad ones, and the stories we tell ourselves about why we feel that way.
Addicted. Wow.
Yeah, it's a known state, right? Even if it's uncomfortable, it's familiar. Sometimes it takes a real crisis, unfortunately, to shake us out of it and make us want to change.
And that moment
Hmm.
when you catch yourself slipping back into that old negative feeling. He has a name for that, right?
Yes. The moment of change.
Hmm.
That awareness, catching yourself on autopilot, defaulting back to the old program, that's huge. That's the starting point for choosing something different.
Okay. And what about blaming things outside ourselves? Traffic made me mad. He stressed me out.
Right. Another unconscious program, he'd say, just automatically linking how we feel only to what's happening around us.
But external things do affect us.
Of course they do. They trigger things, but the key idea is we have a choice in our response and how long we stay in that triggered emotional state. We don't have to be stuck there.
Okay, so that's the emotion-belief connection. What about this old model versus new model of reality he talks about?
Yeah, this is a big shift in thinking. The old model is, well, it's how most of us operate, probably.
How's that?
We wait. We wait for the money to show up, or the right relationship to start, or the health diagnosis to improve. Then we expect to feel good. Abundant, loved, healthy.
The I'll be happy when trap. I know that one.
Exactly. Conditional happiness, the new model just flips it completely.
Flips it how?
You decide how you want to feel, abundant, loved, empowered, grateful, whatever it is, and you start cultivating that feeling now, before the external proof arrives.
So you feel it first,
Yeah.
and then the experience follows.
That's the idea. You feel it so consistently, so genuinely, that it becomes your internal state, your energy signature, you could say. And that new energy starts attracting corresponding experiences.
Okay, but that sounds hard.
Yeah.
Especially if you're used to feeling the opposite.
It is hard initially. The key is overcoming those old emotional habits, those past-based feelings and stories. That's where things like meditation come in, or just consciously choosing again and again to shift how you feel.
Which leads right into becoming the creator of your reality.
Yeah.
How do we step into that?
It starts with remembering that future feeling. You have your vision, right? You need to intentionally bring up that associated emotion. over and over.
So it comes more familiar.
More familiar and more real to you than your past feelings. You start believing more in that future possibility than in the limitations of your past experiences.
It sounds like serious conscious effort, not just wishing.
Definitely. Real change means choosing to think, feel, and act differently than you did yesterday. And yeah, Dispenza is clear it's going to feel uncomfortable at first, maybe even unnatural.
Why uncomfortable?
Because you're stepping outside your familiar neural pathways, your comfort zone. It also means stopping old habits, sometimes avoiding situations, or even people that drag you back into the old ways of being.
Okay, but if you push through that discomfort, what happens?
That's where it gets exciting. He talks about synchronicities starting to show up.
Those weird coincidences that feel meaningful.
Exactly. Things just seem to line up. Opportunities appear. It's like the universe starts to meet you halfway once your internal energy aligns with your intention. Maybe those are signs this is working.
I've definitely had moments like that. Felt like magic, kind of.
Right. And he reminds us emotion is usually the end product, the payoff of an experience in our 3D world.
Yeah, you achieve something, then you feel proud or happy.
But in this new model, we're generating that payoff, that feeling in advance. It becomes the fuel, the magnet, drawing the experience to us.
So we're not chasing the feeling anymore, we're leading with it.
You got it. And the goal is to feel that future emotion daily. Really connect with it. Fall in love with that vision, he says.
Fall in love with it.
Yeah, so much that it naturally influences your choices. You start acting in ways that align with that future you're feeling.
But what if you try this, you do the feeling part, and nothing happens? Or nothing seems to happen right away? That's got to be frustrating.
Oh, it is. And he acknowledges that frustration. He kind of jokes, you're probably not that good at it when you first start.
Huh. Okay, fair enough.
It takes practice.
Yeah.
Sustained effort. He also points out that feelings of lack, of separation from what you want, are tied to our focus on time. Trying to force an outcome, push it, usually comes from that feeling of lack.
So instead of forcing, we should
focus on falling in love with the future, that genuine emotional connection. That intention sends out a signal, he suggests, into the quantum field. Apparently, it's measurable.
A signal.
Yeah. And here's a crucial point. You can't attract something you feel separate from. If you want abundance but feel lack, there's a mismatch. You have to embody the state you want to experience. Maintain it.
So it's about wanting the future feeling more than you want to hold on to, like feeling like a victim of the past.
Precisely. That desire for the future feeling needs to become stronger than the pull of the past emotions. You start belonging to that future, not your history.
This sounds incredibly powerful. Okay, let's talk vision and motivation. How important are they?
Absolutely critical. You need a clear vision. What does that future actually look like? Feel like? The clearer it is, the better your internal compass works.
And motivation.
He discusses different kinds, but he points to mission motivation as the most powerful.
Mission motivation, what's that?
It's when your drive comes from contributing to something bigger than just yourself, a selfless purpose. Like maybe your vision isn't just wealth for you, but creating something that helps your community. That kind of drive is really sustainable.
That makes sense. Purpose fuels you differently.
Totally.
Yeah.
And having a big vision, well, it demands that you grow. You have to become a different person to achieve it. It forces new thoughts, new behaviors.
So the size of the dream pushes your personal evolution.
Exactly. You have to step out of what's known, what's comfortable, to allow for those new possibilities to emerge.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Stress. We all deal with it. How does it interfere with this whole creation process?
Massively. Dispenza calls living in chronic stress survival mode. And when you're in survival, change is incredibly difficult.
Why is that?
Because your attention is narrow. It's focused on your body. Is it safe? Your environment? Where's the threat? And time. How long until the danger passes?
Yeah.
You're always on guard.
Yeah, that fight or flight feeling.
Right. Stress hormones flood your system, triggering those negative emotions, fear, anger, anxiety. Your body's constantly in emergency mode. It just drains your energy. And over time, it can lead to disease.
Okay, so stress is bad for creating. What's the opposite? Elevated emotions.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really wild, biologically speaking.
How so?
He cites research showing that elevated emotions, gratitude, love, joy, awe, can actually upregulate your genes. They turn on positive gene expression.
Wow, really? So feeling good can change our genetics.
Change the expression of the genes, yeah. It's like you're sending signals to your body that are ahead of the environment. Your internal state is telling your biology to prepare for a better future.
That is incredible.
It is. He mentions one study, people practice trading negative emotions for elevated ones. And in just 3 days, their immunoglobulin A, which is key for immunity, increased by 50%.
50% in 3 days, just from changing feelings.
That's what the study suggested. Significant biological shifts happening fast just through conscious emotional regulation. It's not just feeling better, it's being better biologically, which ties right into our beliefs, doesn't it?
Yeah, those deep-seated assumptions we have. How do we rewire those?
Well, first, understanding what they are. Dispenza defines beliefs simply. They're just thoughts you keep thinking over and over until they become automatic, unconscious program.
Like habits of thought.
Exactly. And we can have these unconscious beliefs running the show that we've never actually questioned. Maybe they aren't even true for us anymore or never were.
So just realizing you have a limiting belief is a big step.
Huge. Making the unconscious conscious. He uses that neuroscience phrase. Nerve cells that no longer fire together, no longer wire together.
Meaning, if you stop activating a thought pattern,
Its connection weakens. So if you notice a negative thought, say, I'm not good enough, and you observe it, you don't automatically buy into it, you just notice it. You start to loosen its grip. You stop firing those neurons together as strongly.
okay, so awareness weakens it. Then what?
Then you consciously choose differently. You notice the habits tied to the belief, maybe blaming others, complaining, making excuses, and you actively decide to respond in a new way.
It comes back to choice again.
Always. And asking yourself, is this feeling I'm having right now unworthiness, stress, sadness? Is this how I want my future to feel? If not, you got to consciously trade it. Swap it for that elevated emotion you do want.
How do you make the new belief stick?
Intentional focus. Keep remembering and feeling what you want to believe. That mental rehearsal builds the new neural pathways. He says belief is like pregnancy. You either are or you aren't.
No middle ground.
Right. The goal is to keep installing that new circuitry until the new belief is the loudest voice in your head. Rehearsing who you want to be primes the brain like it's already happened, and feeling that elevated emotion consistently conditions the body, mind and body together.
Okay, this is a great theory. How do we make it practical? Day to day?
Setting intentions is big. Start the day deciding how you want to feel, what state you want to be in.
Okay, intention setting, then what?
Check-ins. Throughout the day, just pause and ask, am I still in that state? Am I feeling that future emotion? Any reminder to bring yourself back is valuable.
So it's not about being perfect, but about catching yourself when you drift.
Exactly. Dispenza stresses that change is about the overcoming, the process. That struggle and conscious redirection is the becoming.
And meditation fits in here how?
It's a key tool for that internal shift. The goal isn't just to relax, although that's nice. The goal is to change your state of being. Healing, he suggests, is often just a side effect of that fundamental internal change.
So use meditation to practice changing your state.
Yes, and to confront limiting beliefs when they pop up. Don't get overwhelmed, attack them, question them, choose the new belief instead.
It really sounds like creating a new reality means becoming a whole new personality.
That's exactly what he says. New personality, new personal reality. And look, he shares stories of people changing fast, major health turnarounds, big life shifts. It can happen quickly, but it takes dedication.
What about those really hard meditations where you just want to quit?
He says those are often the most important ones. Pushing through that resistance, refusing to give up on your future self that builds serious belief. That's when you prove to yourself you mean business.
And when you're not in survival mode.
Energy naturally moves to the heart, he suggests. You become more open, more coherent, ready to create. But yeah, transformation means being willing to give up parts of the past self, letting go.
Okay, for people maybe intimidated by meditation, what's the approach?
Guided meditations can be really helpful. They walk you through it. A key goal he talks about is becoming no one, no thing, nowhere, in no time.
Whoa, that's abstract.
It is a bit. But the idea is to move beyond your identity, your body, your environment, your sense of time, to access the quantum field, this place of pure potential.
So disconnect from the usual anchors.
Right. You bring attention inward, then expand beyond the body into just awareness, pure consciousness. Then a vital step is activating your future self.
How do you do that?
You vividly imagine stepping into that future version of you, feeling what they feel, thinking like they think, embodying it in the meditation.
So you practice being that future self.
Exactly. And you focus on those elevated emotions, love, joy, gratitude. That broadcasts a new signal into that quantum field, tunes your body to that future destiny. And again, because the body doesn't know the
Well,
difference.
it means the future's happening now.
Precisely. When your mind and heart are coherent, aligned, you become like a magnet pulling that reality towards you.
It sounds amazing,
Isn't
but
it?
fear and anxiety are huge for so many people. How does this approach deal with that?
He acknowledges it directly, cites that statistics, something like 75–90% of doctor visits are stress-related.
Wow.
People can get addicted to stress hormones, needing drama or bad news just to feel normal. It's a cycle that leads to burnout and illness.
But can you break that addiction?
Absolutely. He insists it's possible. He points to so many people who've overcome intense trauma and changed their lives using these methods. Past trauma doesn't have to define your whole future.
That's hopeful. But it feels like we live in a sort of trauma culture sometimes, where people identify really strongly with past hurts.
He touches on that too. While acknowledging trauma is real, he cautions that only identifying with it, constantly reliving it, just keeps producing the same negative chemistry in the body. It keeps you stuck in survival.
So the goal isn't just to process the story, but to get beyond the emotion of it.
Exactly. True freedom comes when the emotional charge is gone. Forgiveness, in his view, isn't about condoning what happened. It's about releasing that emotion so you are free. You stop giving your energy to the past.
And the heart plays a role here.
Yeah, when the heart gets coherent, calm, regulated, it sends a signal to the brain basically saying, it's safe now, the danger is over. It helps reset that baseline fear response.
How do you even start if you're deep in those patterns?
Awareness again, insight. Often that starts just by practicing being present in meditation, noticing the mental chatter that's the brain's default mode.
The monkey mind.
Right. He says just catching yourself when you drift off into unconscious thought during meditation, that's a victory. Each time you notice, you become a little more conscious overall.
Being present. It means being okay with the unknown, doesn't it? Which feels scary.
It goes against survival instincts, for sure. But you can train the body through repetition in meditation to feel safe even when it's not controlling everything, to trust a new mind.
So transformation happens when you become so aware of the old habits you just don't want to do them anymore.
That's a huge part of it. You see them so clearly, you choose differently. And maybe the most mind-blowing idea he puts out there, he asks this question.
What's the question?
Is it possible that your own nervous system can create a pharmacy of chemicals inside you that works better than any external drug?
Our own inner pharmacy.
Yeah. And based on the results people get, the research he presents, he suggests the answer is yes. That our state of being, our intention, can trigger profound healing, sometimes more effectively than conventional treatments. And when groups do it together, collective coherence, it amplifies the effect.
Wow, that is a seriously empowering thought.
Okay, that's a really thorough overview of Dr. Dispenza's framework. Shall we try a short guided meditation based on these ideas?
If you're able to, find a comfortable spot where you can relax for a few minutes without interruption.
Go ahead and find that quiet space. Sit comfortably or lie down if you prefer. Gently close your eyes. And let's just start with a few deep, settling breaths. Breathe in deeply. And let it all go on the exhale. Again, deep breath in and release. One more time. Inhale fully. Maybe hold for just a second. And slowly exhale. Let your breath settle into its own natural rhythm now. Feel your body becoming still. Quiet, relaxed. Now, let's gently bring our awareness to this idea of becoming no one, no thing, being nowhere in particular, and in no specific time. Just imagine opening a door, stepping into the space of pure potential, the quantum field.
Now just bring your awareness gently to your body. Notice the physical sensations, the weight of your body, the space it occupies. Now expand that awareness slightly to the space around your body. Sense the energy in the room, the space just beyond your skin. Now, let your awareness expand even further, beyond your body, beyond your name, beyond your identity, beyond your past, beyond all the stories. Just become pure consciousness. Infinite potential. You're not defined by anything that's happened before. You are defined only by the vision of the future you choose to create.
Then bring that vision to mind. See the version of you that you are becoming. See them clearly. How do they look? How do they carry themselves? How do they speak? How do they interact? Now, imagine stepping into that version of you. Feel their energy. Feel their certainty, their calm confidence. Feel yourself merging with this future self, aligning your own energy, your electromagnetic signature with their reality, with your future.
Now shift your attention to your heart center. You might even place a hand there if it feels right. Breathe gently into your heart. Feel it expanding with each breath. And now call up an elevated emotion. Feel deep gratitude, or profound love, or expansive joy. Choose one that resonates with your future self and let it grow stronger. Let this feeling fill your heart. Let it flood your entire body. Broadcast this new signal. Tune yourself to this new destiny. Really feel this future as if it's already here. Because in this field of potential, feeling is believing. Feeling is creating.
Now, in this coherent state, connected to the quantum field, you are a magnet for your new reality. Stay in this energy. See it. Feel it. Believe it. Become it now. You are stepping out of the past and into your creation.
Okay. When you feel ready, gently begin to bring your awareness back. Carry this elevated feeling with you. Bring your attention back to your physical body, back to the room around you. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. Gently roll your shoulders, and when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Just acknowledge that you've done something powerful. You've created new connections. You've embodied a new state of being. Carry this energy forward into your day. Remember, you create your life through your thoughts, choices, and elevated emotions.
Wow. Okay, that gives a real taste of the practice. If we've been looking through some really inspiring stories lately.
Yeah, from our listeners, actually.
Mhm.
People sharing the real, actual changes they've made in their lives. It often means letting go of the past stuff that holds you back.
And these aren't just theories. We've got real examples, like actual steps people took. Let's start with Mia's story.
Okay, Mia. She was a high school teacher who was dealing with some serious burnout. You know that feeling, right? Just completely drained, stuck.
Oh, absolutely. And for her, something that really clicked, this idea from Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, was basically you can't build a new future if you're still stuck in the emotions of your past.
Right. It's like trying to drive forward while looking in the rearview mirror constantly. Those old emotions, they kind of loop, keep us stuck in old patterns even when we want something different.
Makes sense. So Mia's story gives us a pretty practical path out.
Yeah, she developed this 7-step morning ritual. It's quite structured.
Okay, let's break it down. Step 1 sounds simple. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Why that extra half hour? Is there something specific about that time?
Well, yeah, there seems to be. When you first wake up, your brain is often in this theta brainwave state. It's more relaxed, kind of dreamlike.
Mm-hmm.
And in that state, you're apparently more suggestible. The subconscious is more open, so it's a good time to like reprogram things, introduce new ideas without the usual conscious mind filtering everything.
Interesting. So more receptive then. And in that state, her step 2 was meditating to become no one. What does that actually mean? Sounds a bit existential.
Yeah, it does sound a bit out there. But the idea is to temporarily disconnect from your usual identity. You know, the job title, the roles, the worries, all the things that define you.
Okay.
The guided meditations she used probably helped her quiet that constant mental noise and just reach a state of like pure awareness,
Yeah.
a blank slate almost.
Right, a mental reset.
Yeah.
So once she had that space, step 3 was visualizing her future self. Not just vaguely, but really seeing herself energized, happy, running a workshop totally different from her burnout state.
Exactly. This is where the focus comes in. You create this really clear mental picture of where you want to go. And the contrast with her current situation probably gave it, you know, real power, real direction.
And step 4 ties right into that, actively feeling the emotions of that future self. So not just seeing it, but feeling the joy, the gratitude, the freedom.
Yes, this is so key. It's not just positive thinking. Our bodies react to emotions. When she felt joy or gratitude, she was literally changing her physiology to match that future she wanted.
Like sending new signals to her body.
Precisely. Emotions trigger chemicals, neuropeptides. By practicing the feelings of her future, she was kind of teaching her body what that future felt like.
Okay, that makes sense. Step 5 sounds fun. Create a mind movie. What's that involve?
It's basically making that visualization richer, more engaging. So she'd combine music that made her feel those elevated emotions with images representing her goals, maybe adding some affirmations.
Like a personal trailer for her future life.
Kind of, yeah. Watching it daily reinforces the vision, strengthens those neural pathways, like carving out a new path in your brain by walking it over and over.
And then step 6 during the day was about rehearsing new thoughts. So if anxiety popped up, she'd consciously say, nope, that's the old me, the new me is calm. That's like active mental training.
It really is. You're consciously intercepting old thought habits and replacing them. It takes practice, like building a muscle, but it weakens the old negative pathways and strengthens the new positive ones.
And the final step, number 7, was tracking her emotional progress, not just waiting for external stuff to change. Why focus on feelings first?
Well, because focusing only on the outside results can be discouraging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Change takes time. But if you notice you feel better, more energetic, more hopeful, that's our character, that's real progress. It shows the inner work is actually working, even before the big external shifts happen.
And it clearly worked for Mia. More energy in 4 weeks, and she pitched that creative project successfully. That's pretty
It
fast.
really shows what consistent, focused inner effort can do. And her key tip sums it up perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah. Don't wait for the outer change. Feel it now. That's the trick. Because the brain believes what you feel, and your energy shifts first.
Exactly. That energy shift is what seems to precede the manifestation.
Such a powerful idea. Okay, let's switch gears slightly to Daniel's story. A very different challenge here, dealing with a chronic autoimmune condition.
Yeah, Daniel's situation was tough. Doctors had told him his condition was incurable. Imagine hearing that. He felt pretty hopeless, understandably.
But he found hope, didn't he? In those stories Dr. Joe tells about spontaneous healing, people getting better through meditation and belief.
He did. It gave him that spark.
Yeah.
So he created his own process, a 6-step one, based on similar principles. Step 1 for him was setting a really clear intention.
His affirmation was, I am healed. My body is in harmony. Very direct. And he read it morning and night. Why the repetition?
Repetition helps lodge an idea in the subconscious. By stating that intention clearly, consistently, he was focusing his inner world entirely on healing, planting that seed deep.
Okay. Step 2 was a daily heart-brain coherence practice. What does that look like?
Right, so heart-brain coherence is basically getting your heart rhythms and brain waves kind of synchronized into a more ordered state. Daniel would put his hands on his heart, breathe slowly, and focus on feeling gratitude, wholeness, for about 10 minutes.
What does that do physiologically?
It helps calm the nervous system, reduces stress hormones. It basically creates a more balanced internal state, which is, more conducive to healing. Think of it as optimizing the connection between heart and brain.
Got it. Then step 3, another meditation, but this time a body scan focused on healing.
Yeah, similar technique maybe, but different focus. He'd visualize this, like golden light healing each body part, specifically sending love and strength to his immune system. It's using the mind to direct healing attention consciously.
And step 4 was tackling limiting beliefs head on. When fear came up, he'd counter it. This is the body of the past. I'm creating something new. That sounds like constant mental vigilance.
It can be, especially at first, but it's about actively rewriting that internal script about his health, choosing empowerment over fear again and again until the new belief starts to feel more real.
And just like Mia, step 5 for Daniel was tracking the internal shifts, peace, hope, empowerment, rather than obsessing over daily symptoms or lab results.
Exactly. Recognizing those feelings as signs that the inner foundation is shifting. Those positive emotions themselves are part of the healing state, paving the way for physical changes.
And the last step, 6, was trusting the field. Can you unpack that term a bit? What does the field mean here?
The field here kind of refers to that underlying energy or potential, the quantum field, some might call it. Trusting it means committing to the practice with faith, believing the energy you're building is having an effect, even without immediate proof.
So letting go of needing instant results and just trusting the process.
Exactly that. Trusting that consistent inner work creates momentum in that field of potential.
And for Daniel, the results were, well, pretty stunning. After about 6 months, his lab work improved dramatically. He felt way better, almost symptom-free. Doctors were surprised, I bet.
They were. It's a really powerful example of the body's potential when mind and emotions align. And his insight is so important. Healing didn't come from needing the illness gone. It came from feeling whole.
Even while the body was catching up. Wow.
Right. Feeling the end result internally first.
So these two stories, Mia and Daniel, burnout and illness, they seem different on the surface, but the core principles are really similar, aren't they?
Absolutely. Both stories hammer home the power of focused intention, the absolute need to shift your emotional state first, and the importance of just doing the work consistently.
Yeah, it's not magic, it's practice. Dedicated practice.
And the big takeaway is that we have more power to shape our reality than we usually think. The inner changes really do seem to come before the outer ones manifest.
It moves you from feeling like a victim of circumstance to potentially a creator of your experience.
That's the heart of it, yeah. Taking the reins of your inner world.
So now that we've explored Dispenza in some depth, let's bring Abraham Hicks into the conversation. How do their teachings compare? Where's the overlap?
Well, based on the comparisons we've seen, there are definitely key overlaps. First off, both fundamentally agree. You create your reality. That's huge. You're not just a cork bobbing on the ocean.
Right. Both empower the individual. What else?
Alignment is crucial for both. Your thoughts and your feelings need to be pointing in the same direction, so to speak, for manifestation to occur effectively.
Makes sense. What you focus on expands that kind of idea.
Exactly. Focus determines outcome is another shared principle.
Yeah.
Where you put your attention matters immensely.
And the power of the present moment.
Yes, that's another big one. Both really emphasize that your creative power exists now. The present is where you make the changes.
Okay, so those are significant overlaps. What about the differences? The language seems quite different.
It really does. Dispenza, as we've discussed, uses a lot of neuroscience, language epigenetics, coherence, quantum field, electromagnetic signatures. It's very science-inflected.
Whereas Abraham Hicks uses terms like vibrational alignment, source energy.
Right. Allowing. Resistance, vortex, emotional guidance scale. It's a more explicitly energetic, or some might say metaphysical vocabulary.
What about how they approach identity? Dispenza talks a lot about becoming that future self, changing your personality.
He does. It's a very active process of rewiring yourself from the inside out before the external changes. Abraham Hicks, while also focused internally, often emphasizes being the vibrational match.
Being the match, how's it different?
It feels perhaps a bit more about aligning your current frequency with the frequency of what you desire, reducing resistance so it can flow in. Less about a fundamental personality overhaul, maybe, and more about energetic tuning. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. It's a subtle distinction, perhaps. An emotion. Both stress it, but maybe differently.
It seems so. Dispenza really focuses on consciously generating and sustaining those specific elevated emotions of the desired future, gratitude, joy, abundance, as the creative signal.
Well, Abraham Hicks talks more about the emotional scale. Feeling better.
Exactly. Climbing the emotional ladder. It's more about moving towards better feeling thoughts and emotions generally, which lowers resistance and allows source energy to bring you what you've asked for. It's less about pinpointing the exact future emotion, perhaps, and more about achieving a general state of allowing and positive expectation.
So different paths, different language, different techniques.
But ultimately pointing to the same core truth, that you are the creator and your inner state, whether you call it brain coherence or vibrational alignment combined with focused emotion, is the key to shaping your experience.
Right. Both put the power squarely back in the hands of the individual.
So wrapping this up, what are the main takeaways? We've seen Dr. Joe Dispenza offering this science-backed, process-driven method. It's about consciously changing thoughts and emotions, rewiring the brain and body for the future you want.
Very hands-on, very focused on the how.
Yeah. And then Abraham Hicks offers this more energetic, vibrational perspective. It's about alignment with source, raising your vibration, reducing resistance, allowing things to flow to you.
More about being the frequency, perhaps. So for everyone listening, maybe think about which approach resonates more with you right now.
You could integrate bits of both. Could you use Dispenza's meditation techniques to consciously generate feelings? And use the Abraham Hicks emotional scale to guide your thoughts throughout the day?
It's definitely worth reflecting on the sheer power your thoughts and feelings have in literally shaping the reality you experience day to day.
Absolutely. Which leads to the final thought we want to leave you with.
Are you ready? Are you truly ready to step up and consciously take on the role of the creator in your own life, using the incredible power of your mind and emotions to build the future you actually want?
Something to ponder.
What are you looking to change or improve?
Yeah, could you maybe try integrating just one thing, even a small intentional shift in your daily routine to start playing with this idea of managing your internal state?
Start small, maybe, and just see what happens.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be diving deeper into specific manifestation techniques, raising your vibration, understanding your emotional guidance system.
And so much more.
So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.
And if you're feeling the good vibes, share this deep dive with a friend.
Spread the love.
We're so excited to be on this journey with you.
We are.
Remember, the life you desire is waiting for you to claim it.
Until next time, keep those vibrations high and those manifestations flowing.